So anytime you want to take a break, you have a save file right here, so you can just turn your system off and just go back to it later. Anywho, welcome back to Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles and the secret right away. How good am I? It's what happens when you play this game for however many years that I've played it. Anywho, I guess I should explain that Tails, the orange fox over there, is indubitably my favorite Sonic character. And there used to be a secret ring over there. But I thought, well, when I was first recording this stage, I wanted to play this game flawlessly for you guys. So when I was recording, I got a little embarrassed, turned the game off, rage quitted, and then turned it back on to record to see if I could try it again. Turns out you can't. It was gone. I didn't know that at the time. Anywho, Tails is my favorite Sonic the Hedgehog character. And, reason for that being, when me and my brother played this game, I was always two-player. Guess who gets to be two-player? And guess what's a multiplayer game? Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and Sonic the Hedgehog 3. And Knuckles. But I actually liked Sonic the Hedgehog 3 better than Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which, a lot of people might not believe because Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was such a great game. But I ended up liking Sonic the Hedgehog 3 better because Tails could fly in Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Also, I think a lot of the level design in Sonic 3 and Knuckles is a lot less cheap than in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Also, in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the special stages are way harder than this 3D Spectrum thing. I mean, the stages here seem hard enough already. I mean, just see how much time I fail. Excuse me, times I fail. As I was saying, Tails can fly. That being, the reason for that being is, well, Tails is a two-tailed fox, which is why they call him Tails, and not Tail. You see he's flying right there with his two tails? Even though it probably shouldn't even be possible, but hey, hedgehogs that walk on 2 feet and wear shoes and gloves and go Sonic speed also shouldn't be possible. And every time you hear the music just stop like that, it's just me pausing. And the reason why I pause is to plug in the second controller, because once you plug in the second controller, you can play as Tails as the second player, and I needed to use Tails for his ability of flight, to carry Sonic up onto the higher platform, so I could reach this hidden ring up here. Yes. And a lot of people don't like playing this game partnered up with Tails. And I can see why, but I like having Tails around. He's a cool guy. He's a nice, adorable character. Quickly likable character. Excuse me, I'm stretching here. Yeah, extremely likable. Very impressionable guy. Excuse me, Excuse me, I don't know English anymore, apparently. Oh, and that was a weird combo that I made there, but I guess it worked. Anywho, oh, and also, if you plug in the second controller in this special stage here, you could jump as Tails, but that's all you can do as second player in this. Which is completely useless, but, I fail again. I'm leaving all the failures in now. Sorry, you have to see how difficult these stages are, though. And it was also hard being the second player when you're playing this game, because the camera doesn't follow the second player, it only follows the first player. So, you know, as Tails, I learned how to, you know, keep up with the first player pretty well. I mean, in-game, well, out-games, the fastest thing alive. But in-game, you know, Tails goes the same speed, the same exact speed as Sonic, so does that make Tails as well the fastest thing alive, or does that make their duo the fastest things alive? But Tails somehow being better because he can also fly? Oh, a thing that I should add. I was just waiting for Tails so he could fly me again. But, oh yes, these, star post things here, those are checkpoints, so when you die, you just land right over there. Anywho, this box here gives you super fast shoes, and you can go really fast, even faster than before. But, we have to use that time to get in this ring. Anywho, the attributes that each character has, you can play as 3 characters, Sonic, Tails, or Knuckles. Sonic's, benefits is the shields that he can get, and, also utilize to their fullest ability. All the things that, that involve with the shield when you're, like, in midair and you have to press A, like the dash with the flame, and oh, that was a tricky combo there. But, the dash and with the fire shield, the extra jump with the electric shield, and the bounce with the bubble shield, you can't do that with Tails if you're playing with Tails alone. No, when Tails has the shields, he can only fly, and that's all he ever does. Now, when you're playing with Knuckles, Knuckles has a very special attribute here. Knuckles can glide and climb on walls. Gliding is just a short descend. When you press the A button, it sort of flies. Well, he doesn't fly. When you jump in the air, that's the highest you'll go in your glide, and then you just like keep flying forward. You'll see how it is very late into the LP here. Very, very late on how his gliding works. But he can glide, and he could that's 6 Chaos Emeralds, one more. And then something special happens. Anywho, Knuckles, he glides and he climbs on walls. I think that's pretty self-explanatory, the climbing aspect. And I do believe I was stuck in that wheel. Just straight up stuck. A lot of glitches happen in this game. Even in this port, they leave all the glitches in. But you know, it gives it more of a Genesis feel. More Genesis-y feel. You Genesis-y. Oh, you don't want to get stuck in there. Get stuck in there, you get stuck in there forever. Or die, like Tails just demonstrated. And as a second player, you never lose any lives. If you die, it comes right back. And here is a top that this zone is very famous for. Marble Zone. Every time you hold left, you go up and... You go to the left and up. And if you go to the right, you go to the right and up, sort of. Like a diagonal-ish, sort of upward-ish-y, awkward thing to use, which is why I don't like walking on the tops. I try to avoid them, but in some instances in the stage, it's actually mandatory to use them, which you will see later. And I guess I should put a little more background information on Tails, or rather Sonic. But I guess that would mean I'd have to explain Dr. Robotnik too, or rather Dr. Ivo Robotnik. His mission is just to cause general terror around wherever Sonic lives. It's not really named. Sonic's world isn't really specifically named. I mean, a lot of people like to think of the world being called Metropolis, but That's the canon of the show, not the actual games. But anywho, Dr. Ivo Robotnik is bent on creating terror by trapping helpless, innocent animals into his robots and using them as, I guess, fuel for the robots. I guess that's... their animals are the robot's source of power, but I mean, I don't know if that's the most... I mean, it's good for the environment, I guess. You're not using very much fossil fuels, but... Anywho, Sonic is, his mission is to just stop that, because apparently trapping helpless animals is immoral or something stupid like that. And, Sonic also had a plane for some reason, which was red, and he wrote Sonic on it. Goody. And the story with Tails, or rather, Miles Tails Prower. Or his name is Miles Prower. Get it? It's a pun on a speedy-oriented game. Anywho, we got all of the Chaos Emeralds. We beat that final special stage, and now we can become Super Sonic. Remember that yellow hedgehog that was gliding across the water at the beginning of the game? We can now become that. And a lot of people don't, yeah, the first thing that we do with the power of Super Sonic, die. Because after that special stage, they took away all my rings. But yes, we can now turn into Super Sonic. And what are the benefits of that? Well, we're invincible, we go much faster, and jump much higher. And that's it. Oh yeah, but there are certain rules with Super Sonic. 1, you must obtain 50 rings before you become him. And you become him by jumping in the air and then pressing the A button once again to successfully turn Super Sonic. Excuse me, I sort of adjusted my mic there. Then the longer that you are Super Sonic, as long as you're Super Sonic, your rings deplete one by one every second, I think, or a few seconds, or maybe half a second. I don't know. But every time you get a hidden ring now, you just get 50 rings instead of doing a special stage. And now I turn Super Sonic, and we're super fast, and we're going super fast all over the place. And the first mission, do a mandatory top section. Yes, when we become Super Sonic, we need to get the top. But I didn't know that at the time. I thought there was an alternate route that I could go on, but no, apparently we need the top because Super Sonic also has super strength, but he cannot blast through things like he used to. Oh yeah, and if you get a shield power-up, that doesn't affect you in the slightest. Oh yeah, and also you, when you're Super Sonic, you become all ravey and epileptic-y. And yes, here's the mandatory top section. You can only blast through this wall with the top. Boom! Now you don't need the top anymore. Hopefully. And now I only have 18 rings. You see how fast that depleted? But instead of having to super spin dash into the wall, well, not that wall, the wall previously, I could just all I had to do was ram my face into the wall, in case you missed that. Yeah. And oh, and when your rings deplete all the way to 0, you no longer become Super Sonic, and the whole thing starts all over. And yes, that floor too also needed the top to blast through it. Not even the power of Super Sonic could blast through it. You need tops. Oh yeah, and if you decide to go into a bonus stage as Super Sonic, when you come out, well, you can't. You're not super once you go in, and when you come out, you're also no longer super. And you keep the amount of rings that you come out the bonus stage with. Oh yeah, and when you defeat a really quick mini boss like the one that I just defeated in about like 3 seconds, you get out of the super mode state. So yeah, just start collecting rings again so you can become super again. Another thing, you cannot become super while you're holding a shield power-up. A little problem that a lot of people had with the second edition to the Sonic game. And also the first one. The first one didn't even have Supersonic. That was the main complaint that I had, of course. And in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the method of turning super once you collected all the Chaos Emeralds, all you had to do was jump and you became super. Which, sounded pretty awesome. I mean, like, who could complain about, like, just turning super? Apparently a lot of people, because sometimes you don't want to go super, sometimes you want to enjoy the music that the stage provides for you. And, the good thing about, becoming supersonic in the second game is, that the second game had a specific sound, of a set of music for supersonic. In this game, no, there's not a set specific music for just Supersonic. This is the same music as the computer box that you explode for the invincibility power-up. Which is one downside that the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles game. The only flaw that it really had. And sort of another complaint that some people had, when you bounce on a spring as Supersonic, Supersonic doesn't have a specific sprite for that. When you bounce on a spring, you just turn into regular Sonic, but just like all yellow and flashy. Look at the next time I bounce on a spring. The spikes on Sonic's head go down, he doesn't become all Super Saiyan-y. Oh, just look how fast I just blasted this stage. You wouldn't be able to do this on the Super Nintendo. Well, presumably, I should say. I mean, I've seen some games go fast on the Super Nintendo. Sparkster being one. If you don't know what Sparkster is, maybe I'll LP it one day. It's a really fun game. Anywho, did I fully explain Tails? His name is Miles Prower, but Tails for short. Which I sort of like better. I mean, I wouldn't want to call this guy Miles Prower. I mean, it's a really fast game. I don't want to feel like I need to catch a breath in the middle of saying a name. And I died. Actually, I think I died here quite a few times just because of that one guy. There we go. I learned. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, Shengon Wu. Anywho, oh yes, another thing, that a little attribute that each character has. There are gonna be some instances when you decide to play the Knuckles side of the game. Knuckles has a little flaw that he has compared to Tails and Sonic. Knuckles does not... First of all, Knuckles is a bit slower than Tails and Sonic. Not noticeably slower. Well, I mean, noticeably slower. I mean, we wouldn't even have seen him. I wouldn't even found out that he was slower if he was not noticeably slower. But let's count how many times I say slower in this LP. But or rather, this part alone. And I'm dead. Just accept your fate, Sonic. Dr. Robotnik wins. Anywho, Knuckles is slower, and he also cannot jump as high as Tails or Sonic, which sometimes forces Knuckles to take alternate routes. Because earlier you saw me jumping at one of the walls that had like a face enemy on it. And it was really high for me to reach, but Sonic was able to get it. When Knuckles plays this stage, Knuckles wouldn't have been able to even reach that guy, so he'd have to blast through a wall that Sonic wouldn't have been able to blast through, because Knuckles is another attribute that Knuckles has is power. He is super strong, a lot stronger than Sonic is. And finally, I make it to the center thing in this thing. And might I comment on the wacky background? Needless to say, this game was made in the 90s. When things were wacky and crazy like that. Games nowadays, they're a bit afraid to do things like that. And I should probably explain this stage. Well, now I can't explain it anymore. But, you know, enough excuses. I need to explain that bonus stage right now. Well, I already explained that center force field thing of the actual slot machine, but on the sides, the barriers of that stage, the longer that you touch one of those colorful cubes on the side, the closer it gets to the, it turning into a goal or thing to just, which sends you out of that stage immediately. And you don't. That's just no good. Assuming you don't want to leave the bonus stage. But here's the boss fight with Eggman. Basically, there are two ways you can hit him. And you control Tails by using the control stick, holding up. But if you want to jump on him using Sonic, just press the A button or jump button, and you just hit him. Another way to hit him is Tails is Tails, and that's one way you could die. But you could hit him with Tails is Tails. Tails is you just fly under him, and then you just go in an upwardly direction, and Tails' spinning tails will just destroy him. He is a magical flying kitsune. But Eggman is just causing destruction all throughout this zone. Oh no, can I just say how much I love the effort that they put in this game? Like the reasons for oh, and if you fall on the bottom of the screen, it doesn't even matter. Tails just goes back down to gravity. But with the stage transitions, I just love that so much. Just put a lot of detail in explaining why Sonic is where he is. Speaking of stage transitions, here's another one. It becomes nighttime and we go into the carnival, which we'll see in the next part.